It's been 6 months since Marvel Rivals came out, and this is one of my initial comparisons that I made when I talked about Overwatch and Rivals. I said, I want to see where Blizzard is in 6 months, okay, as a response to Marvel Rivals. And 6 months later, you know, this is kind of like a big catch-up video. Let's start off with Rivals, because not much has changed in Rivals. They got their formula right. They've been building on it. The people who had to change their formula really was more so Blizzard. So we're going to quickly gloss over Rivals, and then we're going to talk about the dramatic changes that Marvel Rivals has actually forced out of Overwatch, and how finally the consumer is winning. It's going to be really fun to watch how this continues to progress. I'm happy about it. I think everybody at home should be happy about it. And we're going to be hammering down some truth bombs for you guys today. And you guys know how it is. Don't expect it to be sugar-coated, because it's not going to be. I'm not a bakery. I'm not, a Dunkin' Donuts. What is your favorite donut? I'm a Krispy Kreme guy. Sorry to all the Northeasterners. I don't know why they're so addicted to Dunkin' Donuts. But regardless, I digress. Let's get right into the action here. Okay, so let's start out with Rivals. Not much has really changed, right? You've seen some changes to the rank system. That's really the game's biggest flaw, but again, I think the game is much more casual. That's really what they were going for. The biggest difference between Rivals and Overwatch, I think Rivals is a much more casual game than Overwatch is. That's not to say you can't enjoy Overwatch casually, but I mean, just look at Rivals. It's a super high volume, mobile game release schedule, because it's a mobile game company. I don't want to say uncompetitive ranked mode, but like very Disney Channel, Mickey Mouse ranked mode, right? Just kind of is what it's not necessarily bad, but it's also not like hyper competitive, and that's not what they're going for. They're going for crazy. They wanted to get the Marvel characters in the Overwatch 1 formula very clearly, and they nailed it. And they're going to have a super high volume release schedule, trying to hit those marks. Rivals has lost a lot of players. I talked about this in a video that would have already come out, but look at like charts like Fortnite on Google Trends, or Minecraft, or Roblox, right? It's not about like maintaining that spike. It's about, can you get back to that spike? That's something that Blizzard and Overwatch has never been able to do. And that's not to say that the game's not in a good spot right now, but if you look at the biggest titles in the world, like that's what they're able to do. They're able to drop things that draw a ton of people back in and kind of rinse, repeat. What I'm curious about is, can Rivals do the equivalent of that in the hero shooter genre? Because that's something no one's ever done, solely from how big the branding is on the Marvel characters. Like if they dropped Thanos, or they dropped Deadpool, right? Some of the biggest brand at-home names ever. Is that going to make all of like America get online and have them hit that spike? We'll edit some of these charts on right now where you can see the spikes over the years, and then I'll show you Overwatch's. That's something that Overwatch has never been able to do, because they have to write their own characters. Can Marvel do that with the big at-home brands when they save them up and drop them? Because you've seen the results with Emma Frost. You've seen the results with Susan Storm and Invisible Woman. God bless Jessica Alba. Let me just say that. You'll never top the original Fantastic Four movie. Chris Evans, Jessica Alba. Dude, one of the best movies I've ever seen. Truly amazing masterpiece, But you guys know what I mean. Like, that's the big question. That's what I want to see with Rivals, is can they hit that peak? If anyone can, it's going to be them. I think Blizzard has shown that they can't do that, but that's not a bad thing. That's not a knock. It's just like, that's not the kind of stuff that Overwatch is trying to be or build. Moving past that with Rivals, more of the same. They innovated on the Overwatch 1 formula. Team-ups have rotated, etc., etc. New characters coming out at high volume. That's their model. We're clear about what it is. They got a $3 million esports tournament going on. Rivals is still in a good spot. It's going to keep chugging along. They're going to keep improving the game. It's going to be in a good spot. But really, where I want to focus on from here on out is Blizzard and Overwatch 2, because Marvel Rivals has forced enormous amounts of change out of Blizzard. And I'm not talking Stadium, where people were sitting there saying, Blizzard had to drop Stadium to respond to Rivals. It's so obvious that years of work went into that. So it's just like, all right, man, like, what are you talking about? That's just an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. However, let's start with what Rivals forced Overwatch to change. I think Rivals really forced Overwatch to get that 6v6 mode back in, and they really forced Overwatch to do hero bans. Hero bans are one of the best additions that have ever happened to the game, and that is directly because Rivals did it. I don't care what anybody says. It does not matter. Hero bans being successful in Marvel Rivals is the reason they are in Overwatch. And this is a prime example about how innovation and actual competition in the genre is a good thing. It is a good thing. It is great. At the end of the day, it's no longer the consumers who don't have the leverage. We have the leverage because there's another option. Bobby Kotick can't rug pull Overwatch 2 out from under our heads and make inferior sequel and force us to play it, because we can now leave and go play something else. The same goes for Rivals. When Rivals is having a bad update or they do something bad, oh great, We can just go play 6v6 Overwatch. It's awesome. I'm not playing 5v5. It's still fucking terrible. But yeah, like I have an option to go play, and it's great. So Rivals forced Overwatch to invest in the 6v6 mode. Really, like seriously invest in it. And hero bans. A prime example of what good competition does. In this past 6 months, I think Overwatch has had the best updates the game has ever had. Really, ever. And the main thing holding it back at this point for me is 5v5. Again, like I really wish 6v6 was the main mode, but if they want to stay in 5v5, that's fine. I'll play more Rivals and I'll mess around in 6v6 open queue. But perks. Let's start with perks. Best update ever. Seriously, I had not played Overwatch in months, right? And it's so funny. You know that perks were a good update is because there were so many years of just like bad updates and bad feeling that there was a lot of mixed sentiment on perks. I was pro perks when I saw them for the first time, but you saw people on Twitter being like, this is the fucking answer, this shit sucks. And then they changed their minds, and you saw people actually change their minds, be like, yo, actually I was wrong. Like, this is nice. Like, this is good. Because people were genuinely so used to less. The years like leading up to Overwatch 2 and the first year or two of Overwatch 2 were net negative for the game. They just were. Nothing great was added. It was a lot of wasted time, and they're past it now. This is going to be really, in my opinion, a golden era for Overwatch 2. If you're an Overwatch fan, like, you're actually probably going to be happy for the first time in a while, or if you're somebody who's left, coming back trying to play a little bit, you actually do have your options. If you preferred the original game, you can play 6v6 open queue with perks. You have bans now. I've seen some drama about the collaborations, but I don't know if I want to talk about that. I'll make a separate video talking about that today, about a lot of Kiriko hate, which is kind of funny, but it's a good era for Overwatch. In the last 6 months, they put out the best updates they've had. Now, Stadium, I don't think is a big needle mover yet. I think it could be. If you don't understand what's good about Stadium, you're not paying attention, because it's not about where it is right now. It's about what it could be. They have a lot of formatting stuff that they need to figure out about Stadium. They need to have a character volume problem that they need to actually get more characters into the game. And as time goes on, like, I'm viewing it kind of like an alpha. Like, there's so much potential in the mode. They need time to figure out like what direction they want to take it. It's a foundation. Like, that's how the development stuff works. Like, you get your foundation out, you figure things out, and then you continue to build on it, right? Stadium's a great foundation. Actually, I think great is understating it. It's a whole new way to view the Overwatch IP. And that's why it's interesting. Stadium fascinates me. I think it has a ton of potential, especially, like, I'm a huge Borderlands fan. I'm stoked for Borderlands 4 this year, dude. I'm so excited. I am so excited for Borderlands 4. I will be playing this September. If somebody from Gearbox sees this, hook me up, man. I'm trying to play. I cannot wait. But no, like, Stadium has the most potential in the history of Overwatch. It has the highest potential. It's going to take time for it to get there, but that's actually a tangible, in front of us, playable, bright future. Unlike the PvE that they canceled Overwatch 2 for. That's the big difference. There's no gaslighting with it. Like, they actually delivered it, right? And so that's what's so fascinating about Stadium to me, is what it could be. Guys, if you don't realize how big Stadium could be and where they could take it and evolve it, I hope they take it out of the arcade mode. It's very arcadey, like hit or like you can't really tell, but it will resonate with people over time. So that's another like enormous potential thing that could be game-changing, revolutionary for Overwatch as they continue to work on it, which is great for them. A lot of people on Twitter assume that I was sitting here trying to hate on Overwatch just because I want to see the game fail. I get shit like this all the time on Twitter. Truly not the case. But for 4 years, we had good things taken away instead of being added. That's just the reality of it. The Overwatch 1 never needed to go. All of this could have been done in Overwatch 1. Frankly, the general public's consensus. It is what it is. And I understand why people want to defend Overwatch, because you love the game. But you got to call it how it is. We were a mouthpiece for a fake sequel. It is what it is. They're past that now, though. They're completely past it, and it's great. The game has a bright future, and Rivals has really put on the pressure and forced that out of them. So here we are 6 months later, and to answer the question, did Overwatch actually rise to the occasion and answer with strength? And they did. For the first time since really 2020, they rose to the occasion and added good things to the game. And I'm not talking skins, I'm not talking re-implementing features that were removed because of the Overwatch 2 engine. 6v6 is back in the game. Hero bans are new and amazing. Perks are new and amazing. Stadium is new. I don't think it's amazing yet, but I think it could be, right? To me, I'm viewing it as a systems test for what it could be. It needs more time in the oven, and I think they are on a good trajectory with it. The hero releases have actually been great. I was nervous about Juno. I was so used to things being broken from like OG Overwatch design, but Juno doesn't feel that, aside from the fact she's so skinny, right? Juno's fun. Freya is fun. I was more up on Venture than they ended up aging, but like, I was hoping for more from Venture, but Venture might be better in 6v6 with like 2 tanks to displace and stuff like that. All of that stuff is awesome. They took the core game and built on it. They first tried perks and things similar, I think, in Junkenstein, which means it was probably planned about around the Rivals Alpha. So maybe before then too. The way it was implemented was great. And the game is actually in a good spot. I think they've really built back a lot of faith in people. The main thing holding it back for me at this point really just is 5v5. Super tanks and 5v5 are such a massive turnoff. Even compared to the Giga Sustain in Marvel Rivals with some of the stuff that happens over there, you still have a better chance of killing a tank in Rivals, I think, than you did in 5v5 Overwatch, which is crazy because the Rivals Sustain is fucking unbelievable, right? I think they're in a good spot. You know, this is why competition is good. I'm happy with this. I'm not as into hero shooters right now as I have been. Just to be blunt, I'm playing more Raid Shadow Legends and like other games, just trying to, I'm getting old, right? You know, I've played this genre religiously for 10 years, and I'm kind of just looking for other stuff to play right now. That's just me personally, but good work is good work, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. So 6 months later, we can look back at all this and say that everybody finally won. Everybody wins. I think everybody is winning from this. I think that a lot of the tensions around Overwatch and Rivals, especially when Rivals came out, a lot of it stemmed from a boiling point of frustration around Overwatch, the genre being stale, Rivals a true breath of fresh air and innovation, and that innovation that Rivals came out with has really forced the innovation to come out from Blizzard. And anybody who's going to try to sit here and convince me that Marvel Rivals is not the biggest reason, 99% of the reason that hero bans made it to ranked Overwatch, it is the reason, and it's made the game better. I can ban Widow every game. I can curate my experience. I can customize my character. I think Overwatch is in a great spot, has a bright future now. I think that Rivals is in a great spot, has a bright future now, and I think people who like the hero shooter genre are going to continue to win, and I hope that these games keep copying each other. I hope they do. Because if one game implements something that's good and we think it could be good in the other game too, they should copy it. I don't care where it comes from. I care about if it makes the game good. I think you've seen a lot of people lay off the gas on, oh, I play Rivals, I hate Overwatch, or I play Overwatch, I hate Rivals. Like, you've seen that stop, and I think everyone's kind of like looked around a bit and been like, hey, wait a minute. We're so used to having to like fight for scraps because of how bad the industry was. It was terrible. Listen, the hero shooter genre and our part of the industry has been really bad since 2020. There has not been great innovation. Like, ever since Overwatch 1 stopped getting updated, it's really just been losses on the board. Like, way more loss. We look like the Cincinnati Reds out there, dude. Loss. It's so weird to come out here and be able to say, you know what? We have finally started winning. And you know what? I'm glad to do it. So Marvel Rivals versus Overwatch 6 months later. Overwatch really rose to the occasion. They really did. Rivals is still on a good track. Both games have problems that they need to solve. I think Overwatch's biggest problems are still format. Getting rid of 5v5 would do wonders for the game, but I don't think they'll ever do it. Too many 5v5s in the office. Unlucky. And some of the hero designs, the Moiras and the Lifeweavers, you know, need to go. They gotta go. There's no reason to have characters designed like that. And then Rivals, its rank system, trying to line up more of the designs to not be aids. The sustain can be very, very annoying. Support ults in that game can be very, very obnoxious. Figuring that stuff out for the mid-fight gameplay loop in Rivals would go a long way for them. But both games are a bit different. Overwatch is much more refined competitively than Rivals is, but Rivals is not going for that. That's where they're going to be a little bit different. And guess what, guys? We get to reap the benefits from all of them, and I am absolutely here for it. For the first time in many, many years, the hero shooter genre consumers are actually winning, and I'm grateful for that. So, what do you guys think down below? What are you playing? Do you think Overwatch rose to the occasion? Are you still on the Rivals train, or are you off Rivals and saying, I like to play Overwatch, I'm a 6v6 god, or a 5v5 god, or, well, I mean, anybody can be the principal of a homeschool in 5v5, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what that shit is, budget donkey shit, but whatever. Appreciate you guys. Let me know down below. I'm curious how you guys are feeling. Take care. Much love. Peace.